Have you ever caught yourself replaying the same old memory over and over even though it happened years ago? Maybe it's something someone said or didn't say. Maybe it's a moment you wish you'd handled differently. And even now, it still tugs at your chest like it just happened yesterday. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, we carry more memories, but some of them weigh heavier than they should. After 60, we often reflect more. Life naturally slows down a little, and we finally have time to look back. But here's the thing. Not everything from the past deserves a seat at your table today. Some emotions, especially the toxic ones, can quietly drain your joy, tighten your chest, and cloud your peace of mind. And unless we consciously release them, they can linger well into our later years, stealing energy we could be using to laugh more, sleep better, and fully enjoy the time we have. So today, let's have an honest heart-to-heart. This video is about freedom, emotional freedom. We're going to talk about 3 toxic emotions that are especially important to release after 60. Letting go of them isn't about pretending nothing ever happened. It's about choosing to protect your joy now, because you've earned it. Let's start with one that hides in plain sight: resentment. Resentment often comes dressed in silence. Maybe you were always the one who gave more time, more patience, more support, and you feel like it was never returned. Or perhaps someone hurt you, and you never got the apology you deserved. At first, resentment might feel like a shield, a way to protect yourself. But over time, it turns into something else, a slow poison that affects your sleep, your relationships, even your health. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean saying, "It was okay." It means saying, "I'm not going to let this control me anymore." And that's a powerful shift. You can even try something simple. Write a letter you never send. Pour everything out onto the page. Get angry, be honest. Then fold it up and let it go. Burn it, shred it, toss it away. Because the energy it takes to hold on to resentment could be spent on peace. And you deserve peace. Now, let's talk about guilt. This one's tricky, especially for those of us who've raised families, worked hard, and carried responsibilities for decades. Guilt likes to whisper in our ears, "You should have done more. Why didn't you call? You let them down." And sometimes we believe it, but here's what most people forget. Guilt doesn't mean you're a bad person. It often just means you're human. You did what you could with what you knew at the time. No one gets it all right. Not at 20. Not at 60. Not at 90. So if there's guilt you're still carrying, from a parenting decision, a missed opportunity, a friendship that faded, now is the time to be kind to yourself. Start treating yourself the way you'd treat your best friend. You'd forgive them in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? Then maybe it's time to offer that same grace to yourself. Because when you forgive yourself, something beautiful happens. You make room for joy again. You stop apologizing for simply being human. And that's when healing begins. Not in some grand moment, but in small, gentle choices every day. And it might be the hardest to admit, because it often wears the mask of strength. I'm talking about pride. Not the healthy kind that comes from knowing who you are or what you've accomplished. No, this pride is different. It's the kind that builds walls instead of bridges. The kind that stops us from reaching out saying, "I need help," or even just saying, "I miss you." It can creep in quietly, especially as we get older. Maybe there's a friend you lost touch with, a family member you haven't spoken to in years, or maybe you've convinced yourself that it's too late to fix things, too awkward to start again. But beneath all that, there's a tiny voice whispering, "What if they're waiting too?" This kind of pride keeps us isolated. It makes us believe that vulnerability is weakness when really, it's one of the most courageous things we can show. Letting go of pride doesn't mean giving up your dignity. It means choosing connection over control. It means allowing others to see your humanity, your tenderness, your truth. Think of it this way. If a friend came to you after years of silence and said, "I'm sorry, I miss you," wouldn't your heart soften? You have that same power. You can make the first move, a phone call, a letter, a visit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be honest. The years ahead are too precious to be spent waiting for someone else to go first. And sometimes, pride isn't just about relationships. It can also show up in how we treat ourselves. Maybe you used to be fiercely independent and now asking for help feels uncomfortable. But needing help doesn't mean you've lost something. It just means you're adapting. And adapting is strength. Releasing toxic pride means giving yourself permission to be human again. To say, I don't know. To say, I need support. To say, I care too much to let this distance stay between us. Those are brave words, they take guts. But they also open doors to healing, to laughter, to connection that you thought was gone forever. Now, imagine for a moment what life would feel like without these three weights: resentment, guilt, and pride. Imagine waking up with a lighter heart, going to bed without the old ache in your chest. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing not just your reflection, but your resilience. That's what happens when we let go. We don't just clear out the pain. We make room for peace, joy, and real freedom. Because after 60, life isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about savoring. It's about choosing what matters and releasing what doesn't. And when you let go of what's toxic, you don't just add years to your life. You add life to your years. Now, with these emotional weights gently set down, what do we do with all this new space in our hearts? That's where the beauty really begins. That's where the beauty really begins. When the clutter of old emotions clears, something shifts. You start noticing the little things again, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds in the morning, the simple joy of a quiet cup of tea. That's not just nostalgia. That's presence. That's life whispering, you're still here. And there's still so much to enjoy. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what shaped you. It means choosing not to let the past write the rest of your story. Because after 60, you're not winding down, you're waking up to what really matters, you're seeing with clearer eyes. And when you lighten the emotional load, you start to move through life with more grace, more laughter, more ease. You begin to respond instead of react, to forgive instead of fume. You find yourself listening more, judging less. And people notice. The relationships you still have, they deepen. You're not holding grudges, not picking old wounds. You're showing up fully with a heart that's been cracked open and softened, not hardened. And the best part? It's never too late to start. You could be 60, 70, 80, even 90. The heart doesn't age the way the body does. It just waits. It waits for you to notice it again, to breathe into it, to offer it some compassion. The truth is, you've done hard things. You've endured, you've sacrificed, you've loved and lost and loved again. That alone is reason enough to lighten your emotional load, not because you have to, but because you finally can. Maybe today is the day you let that one memory go, the one that always shows up when you're trying to sleep. Maybe you forgive someone, not because they've earned it, but because your peace matters more than their apology. Or maybe, just maybe, you forgive yourself for not being perfect, for doing your best with what you had, for being human. You didn't come this far just to carry pain. You came this far to live, fully, freely, joyfully. And sometimes that starts with a deep breath and a quiet decision to let something go. So here's what I want you to remember. Your peace is not a luxury. It's a priority. Your happiness is not selfish. It's necessary. And your heart, even after everything it's been through, still knows how to heal. It still knows how to hope. If this message speaks to you, if something in your heart feels just a little bit lighter right now, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let someone else know they're not alone, because chances are they're carrying something too, and your story might be the one that helps them finally let go. If you found this video helpful, please tap that like button. It helps more people discover this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more uplifting, real-life content to help you live stronger, healthier, and more joyfully, no matter your age. You are not too old, and it is not too late. Here's to living your best, life at any age, with a lighter heart, an open mind, and the freedom to feel joy again every single day.